Good afternoon. You can be seated. All right, first things first. Miss Sylvia and Mr. Byron, both please come up. Yes, please. Thank you. For you, I'm sorry to have to say this, but I am going to be entering in order modifying have confirmed. You has been recording in the courtroom while I have not been on the bench. That is a clue. So you may record today's, if you want to record your from the media room. You may be in here in the courtroom as a spectator, or you may be in the media room to record, but no more with Rickman in the courtroom because y'all have both recorded things that you're not supposed to be recording based on Rule 22. So I'll know those orders. Thank you. All right. It is my understanding that for Mr. Nichols, is that right? Yes, all right.
Your Honor, may we approach?
You may.
So that was that gentleman that was with her. Seemed like they have a conflict going on as well on YouTube. So yeah, I don't know, but let's continue.
Mr. Harvey, Ms. Westmoreland, and taking the lead going through the plea. Okay. You, Ms. Hilton, need this plea of guilty and waiver of rights form back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Nichols and Mr. Harvey, whenever y'all are ready, you can come on up to the podium. Okay. Are y'all?
Present for this. He's a member of the public, and I would like him to observe this, and he has a right to be here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we get
Are you granting
Mr.
that?
Kendrick
Thank you.
out, please? Stand by.
Oh, wait, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Can we have the, yeah, can I approach?
Okay, we're going to recess for just a minute, and I am sorry about that, but I'm going to have to ask everybody to step out. Okay.
waiting for them to bring in one of the defendants. So yeah, see what's going on with this plea deal.
Thanks for y'all's patience. The co-defendants in the ongoing trial, and Mr., are we ready with Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
All right.
You want him at the podium or you want him here
I think at the podium, please. Thank you. Now let's have him at the podium because he's going to entry. All right.
Okay, sure.
Please.
So I've heard testimony. You're there, truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Last name, of course, and I'm
Nichols, Quavius, last name Nichols, Nichos.
All
Did you
right.
get that? Is that? Okay. Do you want to do it again? All right. Spell it for the show.
Marvius Nichols, first name Quamarvious.
And Mr. Nichols, are you the same person who is called Marvius Nichols on indictment 22 SC 18352?
Yes,
And are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol or medicine? You had the opportunity to sign this indictment with your attorney, Mr. Bruce Harvey.
yes.
How old are you
20.
and how far did you go in school?
I got my GED.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language? In this indictment, you were initially charged with count 1, conspiracy to practice and corrupt, which carries a sentence of 5 to 20 years. You were also charged with count 9 in this indictment, which is you were charged with 2 counts of participation in street gang activity, which was counts 50 and 51. You were initially charged with counts 53 and 65, possession of a firearm by convicted federal code section 16-11-133, which each carry a sentence of 15 years consecutive to count. And then you were also charged with count 54, which is possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, which carries a sentence of 5 years consecutive to count 1. Do you understand that is what you're charged with?
Yes,
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a drop.
yes.
I present the waiver of rights form with your attorney,
Yes,
and I'm going to hand it to your attorney. Did you sign this along with your attorney?
Yes.
I'll speak with your attorney, Mr. Bruce Harvey, about all the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charge in this indictment.
Yes.
Do you need any more time to discuss this matter with your attorney?
No.
Are you satisfied with his counsel and representation?
Yes.
And I'd include in there the counsel and representation by Ms. Litherland and Mr. Garland as well. You had a team.
No record and have leading up to this proceeding.
Thank you.
Do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
Yes. Yes.
And to your knowledge, have you been arrested on all the in this indictment? The state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. Do you know of any outstanding warrants that are related to these charges?
Not related to those charges.
Have you been advised of the minimum and maximum sentence for each charge? Each charge that you are pleading to conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, a sentence of 20.
Yes.
Do you understand as a part of the negotiated agreement, the state will null, process, or dismiss count 40 murder counts, count 51, which are the gang activity counts, count 53, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, count 54, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and count 65, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Do you understand that is a negotiated agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand that the court can sentence you to the max each charge and run those charges consecutively or one after the other?
Yes.
Well, there's only one charge that
So I-
a guilty plea is
I
being
was-
entered into. So
Under my breath to that.
there's no chance to run anything consecutively with
Right.
regard to this plea. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you understand this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as in other terminally on probation?
Yes.
Laws of any governmental unit or any special condition without being subject to revocation for the balance of your sentence.
Yes.
Do you understand you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes.
It will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation. Office has anything to do with parole, the Department of Corrections, or border partisan.
Yes.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this guilty plea conviction, just as there would be from a conviction following a trial? For example, your guilty plea may affect your right to vote, your right to hold public office, passport, your right to receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or the ability to obtain employment.
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive crime, you will be guilty of a felony, which may carry a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison?
Yes.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes.
Do you understand if you went to trial, you have the right to a trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to testify to remain silent and not incriminate yourself?
Yes.
By pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights. After each right, I'll ask you to say yes or no if you understand. The right to a trial by jury,
Yes.
the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself,
Yes.
the right to confront witnesses against you,
yes,
the right to assist with counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel if you have a case,
yes,
the right to the presumption of innocence,
yes,
the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence,
yes,
the right to subpoena witnesses and compel the production of evidence,
yes,
the right to have the charges against you proved beyond a doubt if convicted of these charges after a trial.
yes,
Has anyone forced the right and promised to get you to enter a guilty plea?
no,
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty?
yes,
Respect to indictment 22 SC 83572 to count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act.
guilty,
Is this guilty plea? Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
yes,
Do you understand that you have 40 to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this plea?
yes,
That can challenge anything about the constitutionality of the. Hang on just a second. You also have, so to file a direct appeal, you have 30 days from the day, and you have seeking to withdraw your guilty plea. That doesn't mean anything like that would be granted you as
yes,
all right.
Your Honor, if this case were to continue with trial, Your Honor, the state would expect, as to this defendant, the state would expect that what has already come into evidence that on July as well as October 23rd, 2018, that this defendant is associate of the enterprise of YSL, also known as Slime Life, and that he conspired with others for the common purpose of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. In furtherance of the conspiracy, this defendant engaged in the activities below, engaged in activities that assisted with preserving, protecting through acts of racketeering activity to include preserve, protect, and enhance the reputation demonstrate allegiance to the enterprise, willingness to entertain the unlawful sale and distribution of drugs. Your Honor, evidence has come in during this trial that on July 3rd, 2017, Mr. Mills was located in the Cleveland Avenue side of a vehicle. Was Your Honor, this was in October 2018. They found marijuana as well as sandwich used to package drugs, and there are also guns found inside of that team. This was a consensual search of the vehicle that yielded powder and the Xanax as well as a loaded gun inside of that vehicle. Additionally, Your Honor, in July 2019, Mr. Nichols, and Woody Lee video, Bear Shannon Stillwell, we know from the evidence that Slime as well as you used to refer to themselves or other members of this enterprise. Your Honor, Mr. Nichols was found in surveillance video at a gas station in Atlanta, Georgia. This is what the state would believe to show an onset of a gang war on in 2022. In February of 2022, a rival Gaines County Jail in February of 2022. Information about that part of March 2022, around March 3rd of 2022. Once that information, there was an onset of retaliatory activity that occurred between March 3rd, 2022 and March 16th, 11th, homicide of ICE associates Christian McMiller and Darius Ford, YFN associate, and then ultimately led to a murder of Shamel Drink associate. This murder occurred again, surveillance video at that BP gas station, as I just referenced earlier. Mr. Stillwell was driving an Audi vehicle. Mr. Nichols came to that gas station on camera together. That gas station drinks. Mr. Stillwell was still in his vehicle. Once Mr. Drinks finished his business or finished between occupants of the car that Mr. Stillwell was in and occupants of the car that Mr. Nichols was in, that Mr. Drinks proceeds down the street to the light at Windsor, which is right by I-20 in Windsor. Mr. Drinks is in the far left lane. The car and his vehicle pulls up to the far right lane. Camera, they are at the light for a moment. Then we see both the car with Mr. Stillwell as well as the car with Mr. Nichols, the car with Mr. Drinks sitting at that light. About 30 minutes later, a Good Samaritan sees that car still sitting there, approaches the vehicle, and Mr. Drinks is now deceased. That both Mr. Stillwell's vehicle and the car involving Mr. Nichols drive in the direction of 20 westbound and follow in tandem. 2 days later, when after the case is investigated, Mr. Nichols is found with Mr. Stillwell. Chick-fil-A gas station, restaurant, the city of East Point, and eventually Mr. Nichols as well as Mr. Stillwell are both apprehended after arrest warrants were ultimately taken out for the murder of Mr. Where we are in the case, Your Honor, we know recommendation, the RICO count for count one.
Do the count one, the RICO count.
Okay, we are acknowledging a factual basis. There has already been 17 drug event, the October 23rd, 2018 drug event. We categorically deny and contest any use of by Mr. Nichols. We don't agree to that underlying factual basis. We believe those two predicate acts that were committed by sufficient to meet the elements of the RICO year with another person to violate one of the substantive provisions of RICO and the drug offense endeavor. I believe that's what the language of the statute says, to violate one of the substantive provisions. That's that. So we're talking about a conspiracy. We participated in, we categorically deny any other allegations other than those factual basis. We categorically deny that we participated in any way in the unfortunate death of Mr. Drinks. We categorically deny any other charges to which we are substantive charges to which we are not entirely, and that includes gang charges. This is a plea solely to conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. So that, but yes, we acknowledge a fact basis to that extent, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
The factual basis regarding the nation YSL is that the evidence has shown and will continue to show those conspire with others to participate in Young Slime Life through this, and co-conspirators have committed overt acts to further this conspiracy, including drug sales, aggravated assault, and murder, also including social media posts asserting the violent nature of and asserted dominance of Young Slime Life.
To violate one of the substantive provisions of RICO, and that is subsumed by the drug offenses that have already been proven in this case, and to which Mr. Nichols has previously.
Thank you. Understood.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Mr. Harvey, have you reviewed with its form, which the two of you have both signed?
I have, Judge, in each individual provision in that plea colloquy has been acknowledged and gone over personally with Mr. Nichols.
All right. And Mr. Nichols, have you had sufficient time to consider this guilty plea that has been negotiated between the state? Discuss anything you wanted to about that with your attorneys?
Yes.
All right. And you understand, I hope, I'm going to ask you, that it is your decision ultimately, obviously with the advice of your attorneys, but it's ultimately up to you individually to decide whether you're guilty or not. You understand? As Mr. Nichols, alternatives if he does not ultimately all the other options.
Yes,
All right.
very thoroughly, Judge.
All right. To add to the record.
With regard to the actual basis, I would point out for the court, it says 29 plus. He is a birthday, and at 30 years of age, has got a old daughter and an 8-year-old son. His wife and sister, I believe, are here in the courtroom to support him. He, Mr. Mayor, at this point, before I have even given my opening statement, that Mr. Nichols' mother died in prison. His father was by the Atlanta police when he was 4 years old. And he was raised by friends and family in the Atlanta area. He has come to this point in his life from a very humble beginning, and he has sought the support of the room and others in this courtroom. He is an intelligent young man who I believe has a future. A word of the day. We put a new word into a, and I think this is, and I know this plea is negotiated, but it's a long downside from 7 to 20 over him for a given who this young man is, a basis to accept the plea and sentence Mr. Nichols accordingly.
Mr. Nichols, is there anything that you want to say?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right. I find it there to guilty plea to the conspiracy to acquire control or interest in, and that is the account that guilty plea is being entered for. The remaining counts of this indictment as against Mr. Nichols are being null pros by the evidence to the point of trial right now that there is evidence of at least one overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. There is evidence that would establish this RICO conspiracy count. One of the things that we as judges are instructed by our Uniform Superior Court rules to do when we are considering whether to accept a guilty plea and whether to accept a negotiated sentence. And this is a negotiated sentence in this case, is to take into account leniency in sentencing is more defendant has acknowledged guilt and is accepting responsibility for the RICO count. And whether further delays, not just with regard to this case, but with regard to the entirety of our system here in Fulton County. And this plea does go towards doing all of those things. Negotiated, and since in accord with the negotiated basis for count one of the plea, I find the plea to have been freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily of the consequences of doing that. And it said it's been negotiated of 20 years to serve 7, with the balance of those years to be served on probation. And that, I don't know if there are any special conditions attached to this that y'all have talked about at all.
There are no negotiations as I'm concerned.
All right. Okay. So, you need to stay out of all kinds of make this a birthday present to yourself and to your children and family, that you will leave from here to do and take the next few years. You know, you're going to have some years that are still to be served on this. You'll have credit for the time you've already served, but you're still going to be facing some incarceration time. But after that, you are going to be out, and you, I believe, Mr. Harvey is correct, an opportunity for you to do that and for you to put your past behind you, the bad parts of it, or children proud of you, and set a good example for them, an example that I guess unfortunately you were not lucky enough to have throughout the entirety of your childhood with your parent, the kind of parent that you ought to be to your children. I'm going to wish you luck and good fortune as you go forth from here. So, already, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And Ms. Taylor will make this a exhibit earned for the day. Oh,
Well, it looks like he got 7 years. They've been in it 2 years. Two plus behavior might be out of there in 3. So yeah, there it is. There, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell